one's good, one's bad, yeah, they're really always like this. We don't know who's who, but at least we know who Mike is. They love to complain, they go sports on the brain, and they frequently drive each other insane. It's the good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. The good and the bad and the Mike. It's the good and the bad and the Mike.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Good, the Bad and the Mike. As always, I'm Usheen. That's Cian.
Woo!
And that's Mike.
Hello.
Bit of housekeeping actually before we jump straight into things is that next week we'll be recording Monday and releasing the episode on Tuesday as opposed to the usual now Sunday, Monday. So just to make a note of that if you go looking for the episode and it's not around. But I mean, you know, who does that?
Wow.
I mean, I don't even do that for podcasts I listen to. If they're there, they're there. I don't go wondering why they're not there. That's just all
fair.
Other than that, let's jump straight into the news. Mike, let's go to you first.
Okay, well, the Champions League draw was made on Friday. And, Liverpool have been given a favourable, I think, draw. And probably, I think, the better of the semi-finals. I know it is probably going to be Bayern Munich, but you never know. I'd rather have gotten them than the winners of City, Atletico, Chelsea, Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the tournament, you're going to be playing big teams no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we avoided the other English teams. They were the only teams I wanted to avoid.
Yeah. The draw is a final: Benfica versus Liverpool, Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid, Villarreal versus Bayern, and Chelsea versus Real Madrid.
Yeah. Was there any, there's no blocks on it? You could play anyone, I take it.
At this point it was anyone versus anyone.
So I suppose aside from maybe Villarreal, you've probably got the best draw possible.
Yeah. I would say.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
Unfortunately, my pick for this year's Champions League is out. They collapsed.
Aren't we all out? No. It was me and Mike who picked PSG, wasn't it?
Yeah, I picked Bayern. I'm still in.
Yeah, come on, the mighty Villarreal. The real Real.
Yeah,
I
they knocked out
don't want
Juventus.
Bayern to win, but I like that I saw
Bayern Liverpool final, just to pull at your heartstrings.
Bayern and Liverpool are going to meet in the semis if they both win
semi-final
their
draw.
quarters.
Yeah.
I enjoyed. Someone pointed out that Juventus for the last, I think, 4 seasons have been knocked out in the round of 16 by teams that weren't deemed good enough by their chairman to join the Super League, which I think is just karma at its finest. Cian, let's go to you.
Yeah, so this was an awkward one. This one broke, I'd say, 10 minutes after we stopped recording last week. So not well timed, maybe a bit old, but Mike, you may want to just, close your ears for a second there. The GOAT's back. Tom Brady said he's running it back for another year.
Unfinished business.
Yeah.
I actually completely forgot about this news until just after I started recording, and then had to go and check what date this came out to make sure that it was after last week's episode.
Oh no, because I literally remember we start recording and I pick up my phone and check it, and there's a text about it, and I was like, okay, A, this probably isn't real, and B, why did it come out now 5 seconds after we stopped?
Tom Brady hates us, confirmed.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that is that he hasn't missed any training or anything. He couldn't get through the period of the year where there's no football without being involved some way. He still had to. He
had 2 months with his family.
He couldn't hack it with his family. He was like, no, I gotta go back.
And he has to have something to do, So that'll be an interesting one.
The only person this doesn't benefit is the seller of the last touchdown
that's
ball,
so funny.
Did you hear the full story of it? It was sold on the Sunday 20 minutes before Brady announced his unretirement. But because it was sold on a weekend, the transaction didn't go through because banks weren't open till the Monday. So it is more than likely that the buyer has pulled out.
I didn't hear that part. That's great news for the buyer, because imagine being stuck. Like, it was like 500,000 or something he paid for that.
That is true, but you also
Yeah.
got to remember, if that person's spending 500, it's probably because it means nothing to him. He's filthy rich.
I'm just reading here. Apparently, it did go through. It's saying
Did
yesterday.
it go through?
Yeah, and Brady
no,
offered him some money, but he turned it down.
Have the Buccaneers lost anyone?
Nope. They re-signed Godwin. They re-signed the cornerback, who I can't think of his name's escaping me.
Sean Murphy Bunting.
No, the other one. Cam, is it Cam? No.
Richard
Hold
Sherman.
on. No, no.
I don't know. I don't know who you mean.
I'll figure this out. You continue on.
Yes.
I turn to fact check.
Ross Cockrell?
Oh, well, no, Antonio Winfield Jr. They already re-signed him, didn't they? Jamal Dean.
That's the one.
Right. Yeah, so he came back just in time to make sure they didn't lose anyone, essentially.
Yeah.
They brought in Russell Gage as well this year.
And got a steal of a offensive guard in Shaq Mason, but you won't talk about that. That's still a very, very sore subject, which I gave a big rant about to Oisin 10 minutes, 20 minutes before you came on, Keen.
Yeah. Mike is not a fan. Mike is very confused about the whole thing.
That's fair.
Other big QB news. Desean Watson, who we discussed. It was literally
Many times.
last weekend, I think, was when the last update was, because it was the
Yeah.
Friday before. Yeah. He has now agreed to terms with the Cleveland Browns, breaking the record for the highest amount of guaranteed money in a single contract. 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns, which is a bit of a fucking joke.
Yeah.
His base salary for this year is only $1 million, which means that he loses out on nothing if he's suspended for the season. With the Browns literally bent over backwards to give him everything he wanted, which is just insane. It seems insane that you can, 1 year removed from being accused by 22 different women of sexual assault, that you can then go and sign a $230 million
does he need?
fully guaranteed contract, which is a joke.
Yeah.
But was he released by the Texans? I thought it was traded.
No,
It
it's
hasn't
trade.
gone through yet.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, so does he not
proposed
inherit? Yeah, he inherits. They inherit the contract he already signed, right?
yeah, but no, there is
Yeah.
some kind of where he is agreeing to a new contract, almost straight away with the Browns.
Okay.
I don't fully understand it, but yeah, he is A, getting traded, but B, also getting a new contract. Doesn't make any
45%
sense.
signing bonus. I mean, yeah, it's fucking insane. And it's a complete joke.
Yeah.
Hopefully he does get suspended for the season, or at least hopefully he gets suspended for something.
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't.
I need
just
to look
go,
into this
let's,
more.
Let's
I haven't
push
really
it
looked
under the
into it.
table.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest QB move so far.
Not Russell moving.
No, I'd say this was bigger news.
I think Russell moving from Seattle is a lot bigger.
I think the fact that
I'd like
the
it
whole...
if the Russell Wilson one was a lot bigger, and this one didn't happen, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's just the fact that there was the whole story around Desean Watson.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about this, but actually, like before the accusations came out last year, he had already started to hold out at
And
the
shop
Texans to
himself in the trade.
try and force a trade. And it seems like everyone's just completely forgotten about that, which is
Yeah,
understandable given
true.
the news. But yeah, Russell Wilson's also big news. Mike, let's go back to you.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways to say this story, but France won the Grand Slam during the weekend. Congrats to France. Oh, look, but the main story coming out of Six Nations on the weekend was Italy beating Wales, ending their 36-match losing streak.
With a last second try to win it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really last second. I watched it, and now I realize they scored the 78th minute, but because of reviews and all, by the time they took the kick, it hit the 80 mark.
Yeah.
I mean, 78 minutes can't be considered last minute as far as that's as good as it's gonna get.
It was a fantastic try, by the way. Fantastic.
I didn't see it now.
I didn't see it actually.
What was the conversion like? Was it under the post or was it a difficult
under
one?
the post. Under the post.
Right.
Like, what happened was Wales tried a Gary Owen or kick, and the fullback managed to catch it and made two good cuts and was clear. Made it all the way to the 5-yard line, and as the last defender went to go tackle him, he just offloaded it right back into the centre. And the guy was in.
Might actually watch the highlights of that. Be a good one, yeah.
Going to see if I can find the highlight of that try. Oh, here it is. I saw Josh Adams was man of the match, and he gave his award to the try winner, I think.
I see there is some massive sportsmanship thing, but I didn't see what that was actually about. So that makes sense. Let's see here.
It's very disappointing though for the. Jeez, that's some wrong.
Some ankles are broken there.
Oh,
yeah.
I love how he's probably getting in if he doesn't pass it. His momentum will probably take him in, but the pass is nice.
Just to make sure, I
Did
guess.
you see?
And they needed the conversion.
Did you see? Oh, what's his name? The Scottish number 10, I think.
Ben Russell.
No.
Stuart Hogg.
Yes, him. He did something similar, and he chose not to pass it and got taken out at like 2 yards away from the try line.
Yeah.
Got taken out of bounds, and it was an Irish line out instead of a Scottish try.
What I like about the Italy bit there was he broke someone's ankle so much hard, he almost broke his own doing that turn.
It was disappointing that the Irish weren't able to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
France, I say, were deserved winners. You can't say.
Like, to be fair, but who deserves doesn't always win, you know.
Yeah.
It was a weird feeling trying to cheer on England when it's against every bone in my body.
Just shows that you can't rely on the English for anything.
No, they won't do you any favours.
Bunch of bastards.
Absolute share comes. Mike did start a few renditions of Swing Low Sweet Chariot, which told him to stop.
Yeah, no.
Anything to help them
Why
out.
am I not surprised?
But on the bigger spin of the Six Nations, the Irish under-20s won the Grand Slam there an hour ago.
Demolish Scotland.
Things you love to see.
Big week for them. I did watch half of their game against France, and they were very lucky to beat France. I think it was like they scored a try literally about a minute to go to take the lead, and they looked dreadful in that game. They should have lost that game. But, those are the games you have to win to be champion. They did it. Fair play.
Great bunch of lads.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
That was... Whose news was that?
That was mine.
Mike's.
Okay, Ian, over to you.
It was a very interesting last few days. The 2022 World Indoor Athletics Championships were held in somewhere around Belgrade, I think. Where's this held in? Yeah, Belgrade 2022. And I actually didn't realize this was all over and done in about 3 days. That surprised me. But the big one, because we had the men's 60 meters. Because it's indoors, they can't run 100 meters. They tend to do 60 meters instead. And then last year's Olympic champion, Italian Marcel Jacobs, up against defending indoor and outdoor world championship Christian Coleman. He couldn't run in the Olympics last year because he was banned for missing too many drug tests. So they did two of them facing off in the 60-meter final. And then they both clocked in, I think, at a 6:41 in the final. And they had to wait about 5 minutes and take it down to like the thousandth of a second and have the freeze frame cameras going. And they realized that Marcel Jacobs won by about 4 thousandths of a second, I think. So they both finished on the same time, but Marcel Jacobs gets the gold. So that was insane to see.
That is pretty insane.
Because I was listening to some people and they were comparing this to, you know, the people in the NFL say that they can, you know, run in the Olympics, and if you know, NFL athletes were given a chance, they'd do a job in the Olympics. They never do 40-yard dashes in the Olympics, but the 40-yard splits for like Christian Coleman and the high-level sprinters, they can run a 40-yard dash in like 4.1 seconds, which is insane for comparative to NFL.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. Let's see, what else have I got? Oh yeah, there was another NFL news.
Mm-hmm.
Another big trade occurred during the week where Davante Adams went from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders for a first and second pick in the 2022 draft.
Oof.
And he's signed a 5-year, $140 million contract with the Raiders. There's a potential out for the Raiders after 3 years, but that's a huge contract for him. And I think I read that essentially the Raiders are paying him more than like 15 other teams are paying their entire wide receiver room, which is just insane.
I'm kind of surprised, but I'm interested to see what happens with the Raiders this year. As obviously being a Patriots fan and seeing McDaniels for a while, I can't wait to see Davante Adams there and then be told, "Yeah, we're pitching it for a screen at 3rd and 20. Let's go." Let's see how long it goes with that. Because they have signed, actually, which is ironic as well in free agency, they have signed Brandon Bolden and Jakob Johnson from the Patriots.
Mm.
The entire AFC West is really
Stacked.
going all out this
Really is.
this free agency.
I'm
Which,
kind of happy.
It's interesting to see until I realised that we're playing the
You're
AFC
the
West
West.
this year.
Oh,
So
that's
not
actually
as
really,
big a fan.
that's actually means it's a good year, because that means if the two best, arguably the two best divisions are playing each other this year, so should be a lot of good fixtures, I think. So great all round for the neutral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as great for a 49ers fan, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Surely you want to test yourself against the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to reach the playoffs though.
You'll still get the easy 2 wins against Seattle.
That's true. The Seahawks haven't been great, and you know we're great in the regular season against the Rams.
I was going to say it, but I didn't want to say because I thought you'd get annoyed.
Too
No,
soon. Too
I've
soon
just
to mention the
decided
Rams.
to forget about that one game. It never happened. We decided we didn't want to play the Super Bowl, so we
Is
just
Jimmy
said,
G
"No, it's
still
fine."
with you?
Yeah, we haven't been able to trade it
At
yet.
the minute. Mm.
You better hurry before that Baker Mayfield gets in there.
That was the thing, though, is that like the entire QB market seemed to be stalled until Desean Watson.
Deshaun went.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair.
So
Makes
we'll
sense,
see
I
what
suppose.
happens. In our final bit of news for the day, we had the first Grand Prix of the new season, the Bahrain Grand Prix. I know we gave a quick season preview last week, but it was a very exciting race today.
It was.
Especially in the last 5 laps or so.
Which
Yeah.
I didn't see, but I heard everything.
It was so good. Actually, to be fair, it's the whole race is on Now TV now on demand. I'd 100% after we finish up here, go back and watch those last 5 races, Mike.
I think
Those
I
last
think I
5
think
laps.
I am
5
because-
races.
It's 5 laps.
For those that don't know, we were sitting on a bus watching it, and when the safety car was just about to go, the bus driver was like, "You're at your stop. You gotta get out. This is the last stop." And we're like, "Oh, can we stay to watch?" I was like, "No,
Can you
you
go
got-" So I
around the
had-
block a little bit? Just
Yeah. So I had to put my phone in my pocket as we were getting all our stuff, but I had my earphones still on so I could hear everything. And then when I heard Verstappen giving out thing, I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Something's happening."
absolutely insane.
But I can't see it, but I can. And then Perez goes quickly after. God, Bull went from was
Heroes
third
to
and fourth
zeros.
to
This second and fourth
losers.
to so
yeah.
we had there was
yeah.
a really nice couple of laps in the middle where Leclerc and Verstappen kept
Yes, I did
overtaking
enjoy
each
that.
other.
At the
Verstappen
same
would
turns.
overtake in the coming into the first corner. Leclerc got him back coming into the fourth, and it was like really interesting to watch. And then, with less than 10 laps to go, Pierre Gasly just his engine just stopped. The whole thing just
Fire, isn't it?
stopped. He managed to pull off to the side, and then they had a wider shot, and the back of his car was just all on fire. I no idea what was the cause of that, but that brought out the safety car, obviously, which bunched up
Yeah.
the field a bit, and everyone was thinking, like,
Yeah.
Leclerc was so far ahead, and
Yeah.
everyone was kind of thinking, okay, maybe this gives Verstappen a chance. And in the middle of the safety car, Verstappen starts complaining about his steering and how he's losing the steering.
Yeah, because he pitted well the safety car, and immediately said something's wrong.
Yeah,
You got a warning or something, and they were looking into it.
and they essentially said there wasn't anything that they could do, so he just had to stay out. And then after the safety car went back in and racing started again, he didn't get as good a start as I think most people would have expected. And about halfway through the lap, started complaining about his engine, his battery. Started like, what's wrong with what's wrong with my battery, kind of thing. And the engineers were like, we can't see anything, we don't know what's going on. And then Sainz overtook him, and then Perez and Hamilton and Russell all overtook him, and he managed to just slowly make his way into the pits, so they didn't have a safety car. But he was out, he had to retire the car. And then on the last lap,
That was what, like 3 laps ago?
that was
Yeah,
with 3 laps to go. And then so it was
Right.
Ferrari 1-2, and then Perez and Hamilton racing for third. And in the last lap, on turn 1, Perez takes the corner, and then his engine just stops and he spins. And everyone passes him, and he has to retire the car. And Red Bull go from a second and fourth place to no points, not even finishing the race in either car. So that's 3.
And Ferrari get maximum points.
Ferrari get
Yep.
maximum points in a 1-2. But that's 3 of the 4 Red Bull powered cars that weren't able to finish the race.
So,
I believe
yeah.
they were saying that the Pierre Gasly and the AlphaTauri, his failure wasn't caused by the same thing as the Red Bulls. I think they were saying that
Yeah.
it's a fuel pump issue. And Christian Horner said that when Verstappen pitted, essentially when the car was dropped, it knocked something loose. So that's what caused the steering issues. But it's not a great look for Ferrari to start things off.
For
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Great
sorry.
look for
It is a great
yeah,
look for
great
Ferrari.
look for Ferrari.
What have they done recently? Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
And then Mercedes went from saying we don't think we're going to be anywhere near
Red
we're
Bull
going to be anywhere
Ferrari.
near the pace to finishing third and fourth.
That's pretty good.
Granted, it was
But-
because of the 2 Red Bulls.
But who finished 5th? Question everyone
Who
wants to know.
finished 5th indeed? The big question.
The big question.
Kevin Magnussen of Haas.
Who's been on the team for a week?
Yep. Haas now have more points this season than they got in each of the last 2 seasons combined.
I could not be prouder of Gunter and the boys.
Haas, Kevin Magnussen in his first Grand Prix in a year and a half. Also the last driver to get points for Haas. They actually have a decent looking car. Schumacher was also unlucky not to end up in the points.
Where did he finish?
He finished like 12th or 12th. I
Did
think.
he spit out or something like this? Once again, this all through my audio. He spit out or something happened because they kept saying very unlucky.
Yeah,
Not
in
to
the
get his
first
points.
lap, Schumacher finished 11th, right behind the rookie, Zhao Guanyu, who had a great race for a rookie. In the first lap, Ocon tipped Schumacher and essentially spun him, and Ocon got a 5-second time penalty for that. But I mean, it didn't do much.
That
It
was
was a terrible day for McLaren. Who
Yeah.
finished 14th and 15th. Not what they would have wanted at all. So, it's going to be a very interesting season, and
It's a long season.
I'm buzzing for it.
I know it's only the first race, but it's a long season.
It is a long season, but fair play to Ferrari.
I still think Haas has a chance to win the championship.
Oh yeah, Magnus. Oh fuck, what's his name? Magnus.
Kevin Magnussen.
Carl Magnussen.
Carl
I thought
Magnussen.
Magnus was the first time. Yeah, for the Drivers' Championship, I think still,
Kevin
it's
Magnussen.
just getting warmed up. Whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Carl
Yeah,
Magnussen's
Formula
the chess player, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if Carl Magnussen won the World Drivers' Championship, that'd be pretty impressive.
Man can do it all, okay?
Fantasy football, chess, Formula One. What can't he do?
A rainy day in Stoke, I'll tell you that much.
There was something else, and I can't remember what it was anymore. I've lost it. But anyway, yeah, great to see. Yeah, for 4 of the last 5 seasons, the second place driver in the Bahrain Grand Prix has won the championship, I believe. So
science is here.
if that holds true, it's Sainz's year. Which just makes Verstappen not finishing second even worse for him. If he's superstitious. But, maybe he's just a little suspicious.
He might just be a little suspicious.
Alright, let's move on. Unless anyone else, you don't have any more points on
No.
Not just small one actually, just FA Cup draw for the semi-finals was released.
Oh yes.
That'll be Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Liverpool Cities, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, we were gonna have to play them at some point. I thought.
I honestly, when Southampton equalised today, I was like, maybe they'll get knocked out. But no.
So is that actually? So it's 15th, 16th is the game. Is that before or after the Premier League game? That's the big one. Mind game. So I know we played them twice in quick succession.
Let me check. That's the Easter weekend. It's the okay. So it's the weekend after the Premier League game.
Okay.
The Premier League game is on the 10th. Then we have the second leg of the UEFA Champions League on the 13th,
and then the
semi-final
semi-final
on the 16th, and then United on the 19th.
Lovely.
That's a tough run. And then Everton, but who cares about that?
Wait, did you say United on the 15th?
19th.
19th. Okay, yeah.
All right, let's move on to
Our main
what
topic.
we're really going to talk about today is controversies in sport. So I went to Mike first with the news. Cian, let's go to you first with a controversy in sport.
Okay. One of my big favorite ones. one that shocked the nation, certain parts of the nation. This is pretty back 12 years ago, the 2010 Leinster Senior Football Championship final. First of all, there was a big surprise, as Dublin were not playing in the final. So, people actually cared this year. We had the Mighty Loud against the Mighty Meath. A bit of heritage. They probably won the Leinster Championship a couple of times. Loud would have won a debate, but not since like I think they were good in like the 50s and 60s. But recently they've both been shocking. So either one of them would have loved a Leinster Championship. And early on it was looking good for Loud men. They were winning, and they were starting to believe that they could win it. Until the very late goal, by a controversial late goal by the great Joe Sheridan, as he was tackled on the line. He caught the ball basically on the goal and got tackled to the ground, in which he then rolled over the line to score a goal. Now this isn't rugby, and the VJ knew if it was legal, let alone the referee on the pitch. I believe there was a bit of deliberation, and the referee decided to award the goal for Joe Sheridan literally rolling over the line. And then it became apparent afterwards that it in fact wasn't legal, and it should have been called back. But it stood, and Meath won by 2 points. So, people from Louth, very hard done by to lose their first Leinster Senior Football Championship final in quite a while by a dubious, illegal goal. I think it was quite funny.
You hate to see things like that happen.
Yeah. Because it's such an odd occurrence that doesn't happen. Like a situation where a player just has the ball on the goal line to roll over. So I can see why nobody actually knew what the goal was, and like a lot of people at the time did think it should have been legal, and a lot of people didn't know what was going on. So it was a fun one to watch, you know. It was entertaining to say the least.
Mike, what have you got?
Okay, so I'm also bringing it back a while.
Oh.
To go with rugby. I remember watching this game vividly, and it still sticks with me every now and again. It was Leinster in the Heineken Cup versus Harlequins.
Oh, yes. My other one was rugby. I thought you were going to snake it from me, but you weren't. This is also a good one.
Nah, this is a good one. Oisin, have you ever heard of Bloodgate?
Oh, he definitely has. Definitely has back in the day.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, you're in for a treat in this one, Oisin. So, very, very, very tight game. Leinster versus Harlequins in this clash in the Heineken Cup. And the Harlequins star man, Nick Evans, right? He was rushed back for this game. He had a bit of a hamstring problem, so he was rushed back for this game. There was doubts would he play this game or not. Rushed back, and in the second half, the wrist didn't work, and he was clearly not able to continue the game. So I remember, he was subbed off. You know, injury just didn't work out. And I remember watching it, and the game was really close. I think it was 6-5 at one point. It was 6-5 at one point, and the camera just kept pointing to Evans on the bench on the bikes. And I was thinking to myself, me and I were like, why is he on the bikes? Surely he's done for the day. Why is the sub, staying warm? And all this, nothing was making sense. The commentators were getting all confused, saying, yeah, what's going on here? Why is he staying active and warm? Next thing, one of the Harlequins, with 10 minutes to go, one of the Harlequins players goes down. And Evans is on the sideline ready to come on. And the ref is saying he can't come on, he's already been subbed off. But they were saying, oh, the player that's down is bleeding. It's a blood sub. And the camera pans to this guy on the ground, and he kind of spews a shitload of blood out of his mouth. And all the guy was like, yep, that's fair. It's a blood sub. He's allowed to come on. And they do a replay down at the highlight, and they're trying to figure out where this happened. Where's the cut? What sort of cut might have to make this amount of blood come out for this to happen? As the game transpired, they had a blood capsule they instructed this guy to take.
I think the physio passed it to him.
Yeah, physio passed to him, so they could say it was a blood sub.
I do.
And do you know how he got caught?
How did
As he was walking off. Yeah, as he was walking
Winked at
off, the camera was on him, and you can see him smiling, and he winks to someone. Like,
Also,
that's not someone who gets taken off as a blood sub
also,
does.
also, there was also, if you look at it, he drops it on the floor and
Yeah.
picks it up.
Yeah.
He picks it up and it takes it. The camera caught that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it was very bad. I think then after this, they found out there was 1 or 2 league games they did it in as well.
Yeah.
This wasn't the only
Thankfully,
time that they did
Evans
it.
missed they lined up for a field goal, but missed the crucial drop goal. So Leicester held out to win.
I wonder if other teams have done the same, because I'm sure like the blood sub rule is ripe for
I
that
think
kind
not
of
after
thing.
Blood Game. Not after Blood Game. I think it's kind of now. Beware. Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I'd
but
say it still happened a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
people
that
have
it's
more.
been brought up and everyone knows about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I wonder how prevalent it was pre Bloodgate.
True.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to know.
It is. We'll never really know. It's one of the great mysteries of life. Keane, what else have you got?
This is the one that I thought Mike was snaking me on. And this one, while it was very, very controversial at the time, it was legal. And I just love shit like this, where people find weird, like, loopholes in the law and exploit them, and just find out that somebody just wasn't prepared. So this was, hang on, I forgot to actually get
Was
the
this Italy
year
versus
here.
England?
Italy, England. Conor O'Shea's masterclass,
Yes.
Roughgate.
Yes.
This was in 2017. Six Nations, and England were playing Italy. And obviously, if Italy plays England at a game of rugby union, it's unlikely that they're gonna win. So they found a loophole in the rules that I think has been changed since then. Essentially, that in order for a ruck to form, there has to be at least, I think, one player from either team in the ruck. So what the Italians are doing is once they tackle somebody and the tackler rolls away, and if they don't commit anyone else to the breakdown, there is no ruck. And when there's no ruck, there's no offside line. And when there's no offside line, shit gets crazy. I remember watching this game, and the Italians were just flying at them from all angles, and just like the English had no idea what was doing. And I remember this is the funniest part, is the Italians talked to the referee before the game. And I think I don't remember who was refereeing, they may have told the referee not to tell the English, because the English kept asking the referee every time they'd stop the ball. You see the English captain run up, be like, you know, can you tell us what the rules are here? And the referee, which I don't agree with, he said, I'm not your coach. I'm not supposed to tell you how to play the game. Which, I mean, he should have told them the law. Apparently, he refused to tell them that in the first half. He just kept saying, I'm not your coach. So you can see the English players shitting themselves. They had no idea what was happening in the first half. And it was glorious to watch.
It was fantastic to watch.
It's just masterclass.
Honestly, even the aftermath of it, the coach,
Eddie Jones's,
he was
his interview. He was so like England wins. England figured out how to beat it in the second half. They just kept not passing and just running it up the middle, and that worked quite well. But Eddie Jones was so salty. They were like, what did you think about Italy's tactics today? He's like, it wasn't rugby. They weren't playing rugby today. This wasn't a game of rugby. It was. You're just a salty prick. But it was glorious to watch.
I agree with you that the ref should have told them.
He should have explained to them the rules.
Yeah, what was going on.
Actually, his job. Yeah.
I mean, like we've seen videos of the ref explaining his reasoning for certain things to captains the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why that was any different. Who was the ref? I don't suppose you know who.
I can look it up. It shouldn't take too long.
Maybe Owens. I want to say Owens.
What could it have been? I don't know, because he's normally sounder than that. Let me see where it is.
Yeah, but that's why Owens would be someone that would say, I'm not your coach. That's what I'm thinking.
Potentially,
Owens is good for a one-liner like that.
Yeah, but I think Owens would have explained what was going on, if asked. Although you are right, he is good for a one-liner like that.
He is.
Owens the career on being a one-liner.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly,
see, he does.
It just goes to show. If refs are good, they can have a personality. We don't say the same things and praise to the likes of Mike Dean and stuff. Like there's respect.
in the 2017 game, but I'm
It's
not sure it
Roman
was the
Pot.
2017 game. I'm sure what did I call it again? This Rockgate.
Rockgate.
I'm fine. Rockgate. So.
See, Nigel Owens now does something similar to Ref Watch.
Yeah, it was Roman Pot. Yeah. During the game, England James Haskell approached Pot to ask about the ruling. Which lay for the foundation for the referee's infamous I'm the referee, not a coach. So that was shocking.
All right, Mike, back to you.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a sport we don't talk about, and I'm gonna go way
Yes.
back, all the way back to 1994,
Oh.
and Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding.
Yes.
One of the more stranger controversies you'll ever hear. Back in 1994, American ice skating world champion Nancy Kerrigan was attacked by a man with a baton
Yeah, what?
who hit her across the knee. Hit her across
Is
the
that one of
knee.
your relatives? Did he hit her with one of your relatives?
Which forced her to miss the figure skating championship. Obviously, there's the famous clip of her screaming, "Why?
Yeah.
Why?" It was later found out that the person was hired by fellow compatriot Tonya Harding, who ordered the hit
No.
on her.
No, Tonya Harding's ex-husband. Tonya Harding had nothing to do with it, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. And her ex-husband hired the guy, I think. But
It says
Tonya
here
herself
was
didn't actually
sent
vote it.
by Kerrigan's compatriot
Really? I thought that there was
and
something to do with
rival
Tonya
Tonya
actually
Harding.
didn't do it. It was like her husband.
Harding has denied, but she was found guilty of obstructing the
Okay.
evidence and banned from the sport.
Did you ever watch the documentary on her, the one with the year one from the Australian one? I, Tonya.
Margot Robbie. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
Margot
it.
Robbie. It's quite good.
It is something I have on my watch list to watch,
Mm.
as I find this whole incident just so bizarre.
Oh, do you know the bizarrest part? This is the funny part. Don't know if this is true or not, but it's in the documentary, the I, Tonya thing. Reenactment, not a documentary, but still. Is that the guys that they got, whoever hired her, there's an amazing scene where he's about to do it, and they're sitting in a van outside, and he's like, when you go in there, don't look anyone in the eyes. If you don't look them in the eyes, they can't ID you in court if they don't see your eyes. So it just has him skulking around this ice skating rink, looking at his feet the whole time, because he's like, I can't look these people in the eyes. And I love that part, and I don't know why.
So yeah, one of the stranger controversies you have in sport.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not something
Similar
that
to
it
happened
in
what
a way,
happened last year with the PSG
similar to
women's
history
team.
repeat itself with the PSG team.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my god.
So do you think they watched I, Tony?
100%, yeah.
That's
Watched
a
it
great
with-
idea.
That's what I'll do. It worked so well for Tonya Harding. I'll do it
Yeah.
too.
Jeez, that's so bad. Why? Ask again.
Back to you, Keen. What else? Have
Okay,
you
this is a big one. I'm a man who enjoys his occasional
got? Are you?
boxing / MMA.
Okay.
Okay.
One of my major gripes with it that I don't think you can solve is the judges' scorecards can be a little bit wonky from time to time.
Yeah.
And there has been some egregious incidents, particularly in the Olympics.
I
And
know
there are
where
two
you're
big
going with
ones
this.
that come. There's two big ones that come to mind. There's the Roy Jones Jr. 1988 final against the local Seoul boxer Park Si-hun. And to Park's credits, he deserved a medal for not going down in those couple of rounds because he got his face battered and somehow won. That is like one of the worst things you can ever see in your life. Like Roy Jones Jr. used him as a punching bag for I think 3 or 4 rounds and didn't win. And of course the other one, the Michael Collins in the 2016 Olympics, where he slated the IOC, and I think we all remember the photos of him standing in the middle of the ring giving the middle finger to everyone. Iconic,
Yes.
probably, but deserved.
We said this story in a episode before, didn't we? We said the IOC apologized and admitted to match.
Yeah,
Scandals.
and it caused them to change the boxing for the 2020.
Yes.
They picked the IOC judges, not like whatever the
Yeah, the
amateur boxing
organization,
ABBA or whatever they're. Yeah. So that was I remember Michael Conlon talking about it at the time because we were watching the boxing at home. They showed you up-to-date scores after every round as to how the boxers were doing, but the boxers themselves didn't have this knowledge.
Yeah.
They didn't actually know who had won each round. So Michael Collin was coming up for the last bell, coming up for the last round, and he looks into the stands at Paddy Barnes, and Paddy Barnes gave him the thumb just down, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, "No, there's no way I'm losing this fight." So he came out in the last round. He's like, "I guess I have to knock this guy out because apparently I'm losing now." And it's just a shock. I was like, "How am I losing this fight? I've been battering this lad for a couple of rounds." A lad who then, after winning, was not able to fight in the semi-final because of his injuries he sustained.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. That made it worse,
Isn't it?
if anything.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that he couldn't fight it because he was so battered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mike, what else have you got?
Okay, so the South Korea match fixing of 2002's World Cup,
Oh, I forgot about this one. Yeah.
where both it was quite known at the time when you were watching it that it was happening, and it was later proven later on. But South Korea, the host nation of the World Cup, had some questionable wins and referee decisions go their way in both their last 16 and quarterfinal against Spain and Italy, both favourites for the tournament at the time of playing the games.
Mm.
From disallowed goals to sending offs for diving. It was then alleged that both referees were forced to retire after the tournament due to max fixing and being bribed. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that one
the
was
Cinderella story.
yeah. I think that was the first proper match fixing that I was aware of because that happened obviously when I was like just I've been 9-ish, just turned 9. So that was an eye opener that people were not all good people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Evidently, the Spain game, it wasn't as much the ref disallowed, but the linesmen were also involved, just saying Spain were offside
Oof.
pretty much every time.
Yeah. 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 That was a good World Cup for us though. We did well.
We almost played South Korea if we managed to beat Spain on penalties.
Yeah.
Could have been us.
So close.
Cigar.
Keen, what else have you got?
Another big one for the Olympics. In I think the 90 I don't think it was 2000 Olympics, so like 92, 96 Olympics. Ireland won multiple medals in the swimming. Not a good nation when it comes to swimming. But yet, Michelle Smith won 3 gold medals in the 1996 ESM Olympics. And he's been married in controversy ever since. So even though she has the medals and like passed all the checks, if I remember correctly, there was like her sample got tainted with whiskey. I know, racist, but you know what you're gonna do. And yeah, most of the big swimmers at the time were saying she's a good swimmer, but she could never be winning Olympics, and knew that there was probably dodgy shit going on, and challenged that they were never able to find anything. And Michelle Smith got to keep her medal. So
Alright, what else have you got, Mike?
Okay, so this one's arguably the worst of my controversies, I'm gonna say. The Spanish Paralympian team,
Oh.
2000.
Harsh.
Yeah, this one. When I read this, had to re-go on it to make sure, was this true? Because this is really bad.
It is quite bad.
The gold medal winning team of the Paralympic basketball won in the intellectual disability category. That 10 of 12 players in the squad suffered from no mental deficiencies. That's just shocking.
That is pretty shocking.
Like, who thinks we're gonna like? Did they? Oh, this is the one that
Yeah,
inspired it.
yes, it had to be.
Yeah.
But the the best part I see about it is the discover of the thing and how the story got out was Carlos Rigagorda, a member of the victorious team and an undercover journalist after the games. The team was officially disqualified in order to return the gold medals. Firing squad should have also been ordered.
Oh my god. Like that's the
Yeah.
lowest of the low.
That is the lowest of the low. Who cheats in the Paralympics?
Yeah.
Special Olympics. Was it not? Was it Paralympics?
Paralympics.
You sure?
That's what it says. Paralympics intellectually disability. Intellectual disability.
It's not not a great look for any of the team members.
Yeah, no. But I wonder how
No.
they convince him. It's like, no way, you're not special. We're gonna make you special. Like,
How does that work then in afterwards? So, like if they go to job interviews and they're like, "Oh, I saw you in the Paralympics." They're like, "Oh yeah, no."
I don't think they put it in there. Yeah. I don't think that's on the CV. It's like, what you do this summer? Nothing. Stayed at home.
I just took a summer.
Just a bit of a blank. Nothing happened.
Do you watch the Paralympics? No. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I did. What else you got, Mike?
Okay, so this is probably the biggest controversy that's happened and has affected world sports. I think the most was West Germany versus Austria in 1982's World Cup. The
If
game
this
is
is the one I
infamous.
think it is. It's a
I,
classic.
don't, I actually
controversy.
don't know this.
This is actually it's famous for being anti-football. Algeria played there, so it was the final group stage games of the World Cup. Algeria had already played their game, and as it transpired, if both Western was it, I think Austria and Germany would both go through if Germany win 1-0. That's it.
Oh yes, yes,
And
yes.
after 10 minutes, the Germans scored, and then both teams decided to stop playing and just pass it around to the final whistle, which meant both teams go through, and Algeria are gone.
Yeah, like you can't really blame them. Like they're both playing to get out of the group, so
That is true, but it's, it defeats the competitive aspect, and that's why, in order to stop it from happening again, that's why both final group
Yeah.
stage games are at the exact same time, so you do not know
Yeah.
your outcome.
no,
Yeah.
obviously a better improvement, but you can't blame them for doing that. They did
No,
what
I
they
mean,
needed to do.
it's understandable
Yeah.
because why risk it?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a good thing that they then changed it so that the final games of tournaments are always on at the same time, or of group stage.
Yeah,
Bad
I know
for
it was a
Algeria,
good.
but
It was a good
It was
change.
a
to have to
necessary
make.
evil to happen for good things.
Although
Mm.
that is a pain when you'd like to watch more than one game.
Yes.
But such
So
is
thanks
life.
a lot. Thanks a lot, Algeria.
God damn East Germans.
West Germans.
West Germans, my apologies. I thought you said East Germans.
No, no,
It just
West
assumed it was
Germany.
these Germans when there's evil things going.
Yeah.
All right. That would. Do you have any others?
Yes, you have at least
No, I
one.
think
I
I'm
do
good.
not
Yeah.
have any at all.
God, I'm blushing.
I mean, in my defense, we were going to do this topic weeks ago, and then went, no, we won't do this topic. So we kept putting it off. So I was like, oh, I don't have to look it up yet.
Just never
And then, like 2
researched
minutes
at any
before this,
stage.
2 minutes before today started, we were like, let's go with this topic. And I was like, well, I don't have anything, so
You just
So-
never researched at all.
I was gonna use it when we decided. I was gonna research when we decided we were using the topic. I wasn't expecting us to decide 2 minutes before the episode started.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
So that's my reasoning, which I also think is fair. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Feed the algorithm. Fuck the system. And remember, death comes for us all. Have a good one.